Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review IFC Midnight's new horror film, The Djinn. And this is from writers-directors David Charbonnet and Justin Powell. And they bring the story of a young mute boy who's left by himself in his apartment when his dad goes off to do his radio show. And you find out over the course of the film, tragedy struck, which is why he no longer has a mother. And he finds this book, and he opens it, and it releases a djinn, this evil spirit, and he tries to make it through the evening with this spirit to fulfill a dream, a wish that he could speak. And you see imagery of what happened to his mother, and it's dark, it's ominous, and throughout this evening, you deal with a lot of a very confined, very specific space. There's a good use of music. This takes place in 1989, so, we have a period piece here. And they have good use of music. Even composer Matthew James's score creates that ambiance. It's dark, it's menacing, it's creepy. And they utilize the cinematography really well from Julian Estrada, as we're weaving in and out of these different rooms in this apartment. And our young lead, Ezra Dewey, does a really fine job of playing this mute boy who is trying to avoid this creature and survive throughout the night. And there's different imagery, it takes different forms. The film does a nice job of having these differing expectations of like this arm coming in and it looks like just a regular human arm, but you look in the mirror and it's this like dark demon clawed kind of arm. And you have different situations like that. It takes the form of his deceased mother in like a disturbing, like wide-eyed, like razor-sharp teeth look, and really creepy and intimidating. And there's definitely jump scares, but like this film doesn't do it as obnoxiously with like the music. And some of these jump scares are really effective as you're just like, the camera's slowly panning over and you see something that we don't want to be there. And confronting that, and this boy trying to deal with that and escape it. And throughout the film, it gets a little repetitive in terms of, he's doing the same kind of thing throughout the film of trying to run away from this creature, and he has some of these visions connecting with his mother and seeing what happened to her and remembering what happened to her and having these emotional moments. But the film also lays out in the beginning of the film a really meaningful connection that he has with his father, who's played by Rob Brownstein, who does a really fine job of creating this connection with this young boy so that we actually care about him. And the film takes some dark turns towards the end of the film in terms of the costs of making this wish. And it does spell it out really obnoxiously for you, where it doesn't really leave anything to the imagination or anything to thought or to looking at it. It just really spells it out with some voiceover and exactly what's going on, laying out the themes and ideas, and it's just like, feels really heavy-handed. There's also, the effects aren't the greatest. You can definitely tell this is a small budget film, but they do pretty well with the designs of the creatures and the forms of this djinn because it's creepy, especially when you see it in its full form. It's obviously pretty simplistic, but it's still creepy. It still works. And there are moments where it uses a little bit of special effects that look a little hokey with this small budgeted kind of film. But this mix of like using 80s new wave music throughout the film and creating that ambiance. This is a creepy, unnerving thrill ride that's like an hour and 20 minutes. So it's not a huge investment here, but I think IFC Nightmare has a really solid outing right here. And I definitely would recommend it for all of our horror fans out there. And even some of the you that might not be the biggest horror fans, this is definitely high quality enough in many ways, I think, to grab your attention. But those are my thoughts on The Djinn. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.